Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Algebra 1 1/2. We are in Lesson 8. You should be doing this on Wednesday of your second week of class. We are talking about dividing with decimals, as well as ordering decimals, and then even rounding with decimals. Okay, so here I have 0.032, or let me say that again, 0.004415 divided by 0.032. When you are dividing with decimals, if you have a decimal here in your divisor, then you have to get rid of that decimal. You can't divide until you've gotten rid of it. So I get rid of that decimal just by moving it to the back. So I want to move it here to the back of my number. So I'm going to move it 3 places to the back, and I've gotten rid of it. But when I do that, I have to do the same thing over here. So I have to move my decimal point 3 places. So I'm going to move it right here. So I have 4.415 now. I'm going to get rid of the rest of this line so that it's a little easier to see that decimal point right there. I'm going to immediately put that decimal point up here on top so I don't forget where it is. If it's changed from there, it's now right here. So I'm going to put that immediately on the top. Now I'm dividing just 32 into 4.415. Well, 32 can't go into 4, but it can go into 44. How many times? Well, I look at my 3. 3 can go into 4 one time, so that means that 32 can probably go into 44 one time. Multiply, I get 32. Subtract, and I have 12. 12 is less than 32, so I bring down my 1. 3 can go into 12 4 times, so probably 32 can go into 121 4 times. Multiply, 4 times 2 is 8, 4 times 3 is 12. Uh-oh, 128 is larger than 121, so I'm going to have to try again and make this smaller. 3. 3 times 2 is 6, 3 times 3 is 9, and subtract. I need to borrow. I have 5 here. Borrow again. 11 minus 9 is 2. 25. 25 is less than 32. I bring down my 5. 3 can go into 25 about 8 times. But I can see already that that's not going to work. So, oops, hold on. Yep. So I am going to keep going here. I'm going to go down because I thought ahead and realized that 8 times 2 is 16, which is bigger than 5. When I carry my 1, 8 times 3 is 24, plus 1 is 25, so I know that's going to be bigger. So I went down to 7. So 7 times 2 is 14. Carry the 1. 7 times 3 is 21, plus 1 is 22. So I get 31 as a remainder. 31 is less than 32. Now I'm going to stop here because I'm going to say that my directions told me that I needed to divide and round my place to 2 digits. Well, if my directions tell me that, all I have to do is divide to 3 places, because now I know how I can round to 2 digits. I know that here's 2 digits in my decimal place. I look at the 7 behind it to tell me what to do with it. If the number behind the number I'm rounding is 5 or greater, I round up. If it's 4 or less, I keep it the same. Since it's 7, that means it's greater, so I round up, and I have about 0.14 as my answer. Another option would be to continue going with your division or to write the 31 as a remainder up top. Now, with decimal points, sometimes you'll need to put them in order from least to greatest. And you just follow any other normal way of putting a number in order from least to greatest. You just look at the numbers as they come. Oops, I accidentally wiped off this decimal point. So here I have 4.36, 4.22, 4.65, 4.56. They all have 4 in front, so I'm just going to look at the decimal to see which one is bigger. You look at it as if it weren't a decimal number. So look at this as 36, 22, 65, 56. If I want to write this in order from least to greatest, which one's the smallest? Well, it's 22. So I have 4.22 first. Then 36. So I have 4.36. Then 56. 4.56. And lastly, 65. So 4.65. With these decimals here, you want to do the same thing, except there's a big difference. Here I have 1, 2, 3, 4 numbers after my decimal. Here I only have 1, 2, 3. So this is what you have to do. You have to annex zeros to your decimals that have less decimal places, so that all of your decimals have the same number of places. So since this one has 4 and this one has 3, I have to annex a 0 to the back of this one. And it becomes 7, 3, 2, 0. So now they both have 4 decimal places. Same thing here. This one needs to be 0.426, 0. So now I can actually compare them because they all have the same number of decimal places. And I'm going to look at them as if they were a regular number without a decimal. This one is 426. This one would be 7,320, 4,260, and 734. So to write them in order from least to greatest, the smallest would be 426. So 0.0426. The next one would be 732. So it's 0.0732. Next would be 4,260. So that is 0.426. And the biggest one would be 7,320, which is 0.732. We are going to be rounding. So just like we did up here, but I'm going to go through it again a little bit slower in this part with you. When you're rounding a decimal number, you do it the exact same way that you round any other number. So if I have this huge decimal number, 212.0165725, and I say that I want to round this number to the nearest 10,000. Well, first I'm going to find the 10,000th place. Tenths, hundredths, thousands, 10,000ths right here. Ding, 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 ding. He's our winner. So I look at the number right behind it. That number is a 7. Well, remember our rule. If our number is 5 or greater, round up. 4 or less, stay the same. So 7 is greater than 5, so I'm going to round my 5 up to 6. So my new number is 212.016. The 5 changes to a 6, and everything else behind it is left off. And that's your new number. Let's try the next example. Round 4,057.2138362 to 2 decimal places. So I count 1, 2 decimal places. This is the number that I will be rounding. So I look at the number right behind it. Is it 5 or greater or 4 or less? It's 4 or less, so that means my 1 stays the same. So my new number is 4,057.21, and I leave off the rest of my number. Okay, pause your video now to do your practice. All right, you should be back from your practice. Whoops. If you felt confused about letter D, I meant to tell you before you pause your video, don't do letter D of your practice. So sorry about that. If you felt confused or if you figured it out, no worries. We're not even going to check it. Sorry. I meant to tell you that before I said pause. Okay. Round 416.042737 to the nearest 100,000th. Well, the number in the 100,000th place is 3. The number behind it is a 7, so we round that number up to 4. So you should have 416.04274. Letter B. Round 4,375.23562 to the nearest thousandth. The number in the thousandths place is a 5. The number behind it is 6, meaning we round up. So you should have 4375.236. Letter C, round 2,837.065248 to the nearest 10,000th. The number 2 is in your 10,000ths place, so the number behind it is a 4, meaning that you keep your 2 the same. So your number should be 2837.0652. Let me know if you have any questions. I'd be happy to schedule a video call with you if there's anything that you need me to go over a little bit further. Have a great day. Love you guys lots. Bye.